Welcome back to War Throne Eagle News. This week is going to be a follow-up to last week, as a lot of the people who have leaked stuff to me in the past have commented on my recent video. First, the guy who originally had leaked information to me congratulated me on having such good information, noting that the Type 10 is indeed real at least. I commented on how people are quite upset that there's no new British tanks. More on that later though. And his reply was about how this information goes in cycles, and that there's an armored car with guided missiles that was supposed to come out this year, but perhaps it got delayed. And then at last he had stated that he had heard something about a new engine that was moving on to DirectX 12, which would allow for a larger number of players and objects, which would be great if they do ever add battleships. The second one to contact me, I believe his information last time he leaked stuff to me did not follow through, although it was interesting some of the things he had to say, but some of the things he said this time around match up with what some other people are saying. More on that in a bit, but his first note was that the list is legit, but not for 1.85, as last patch there were too many top tier tanks, and that will most likely come out in 1.87 or 1.91, and that 1.85 is going to focus on pizza tanks, and the Ariete is possible as the first 10.3 or 11.0 tank, and some helis. The helicopters, this is where things get interesting, he states, are going to be some additions to the US and Russian tree, the H-64 and the Ka-52 and maybe the Mi-28. Now, I was unaware of this, but last week on November 7th, apparently the Scottish Koala had gotten some information that the AH-64 Apache had its model complete and will likely be in 1.85. So at least for the AH-64, this guy is not saying this alone. In the last note, he states that the Igla missile may be in use, which just makes me think that rank 6 jets are much closer than they could ever be. And a final note directly towards my video was many miles away, denying the claim that the Gaijin had told him what it was going to be at Gamescom 2019. Also disbelieving the leak list that I was presenting. Personally, I believe him on what he's saying. I don't understand why Gaijin would tell him what is going to be at Gamescom 2019 when they can hardly tell us when the next patch is going to be. On the other hand, if Many Miles Away was told what's going to be at Gamescom 2019, he wouldn't be able to tell anyone, as he would definitely be under some sort of NDA, though it once again would be weird to have him be under NDA for a full year when you could just not tell them. Now, there was another YouTuber by the name of BaconGaming who had claimed to have a leak list of rank 6 jets that were to be for Gamescom 2019. I'll link his video in the corner and the description. No, I'm not going to go through every single jet he talked about. Personally, I'm a little suspicious of this, as he didn't show any form of proof, not even a Discord message of someone telling him this. And once again, Gaijin can hardly tell us the date of the next patch, let alone what's going to be in Gamescom 2019. So them having a list full of planes is a bit suspicious, but it's up to you to make the final judgment. I'm pretty sure rank 6 jets is going to be the thing for Gamescom 2019. It just makes sense. But a day later, BaconGaming released another video claiming that some British tanks were to be released at 1.87 or 1.89, the Challenger 2 and the Vickers Mark 7. This time he did at least have a Discord message to show. I'll leave you up to make judgments on whether his leaks are real or not. Both videos should be linked in the corner and in the description below. But personally, I take all leaked information until it's proven true as what I call advanced speculation. And the last bit related to my last video is that the Russian Q&A has been converted to a text form and is now on the forums, and that shall be linked below. They didn't really change the thing, but they did translate the answers a bit better. But there's a more recent Q&A as well. It was more focused around helicopters and naval, but they had some air and ground questions. So starting off with those was asking about the Regina line, and they were like, yeah, we'll make more. There was also asked if there was going to be more guided bombs, and they were like, yeah, probably. For ground forces, if it was asked if Hungarian vehicles were going to be in the Italian tree like they are in the aviation tree, and they're like, maybe. For helicopters, questions that stood out to me were asking if they could tell their plans about helicopter development, and they were like, yeah, we're going to make more helicopters and our helicopter game modes, which is kind of already a given. They did not only say yes to air-to-air missiles, but they are currently testing it. There's going to be more Cobras, which makes sense. Germany is unlikely to have a Mi-8, but will probably have a Mi-24D. We'll probably get the MH6 Little Bird, and most importantly, there's going to be a tutorial for helicopters, which would be great, because if I remember right, for the tank and airplane tutorials, you got some Golden Eagles. So hopefully they repeat that with these ones. Fleet to me was a bit more exciting. The first question was asking what nations are going to be next to get a naval tree, and they state it's most likely going to be Italy or Japan. And excuse me, spaghettis, but I personally find Japan's navy a little bit more important. There's a simple question asking if the Axis vs. Allies matchmaking will ever be put into naval, and there had a very long answer that kind of sums down to maybe later. There's a simple question pointing out that the wake effect on ships is lame, and Gaijin was like, yeah, it is lame. We're going to make it awesome. Or they're going to add to the feature later. There's going to be no sim mode for Naval. And more game modes are being worked on. The Motobama FFF was replied to with, "That'll be interesting. We'll see about that," which is the most unclear answer I could think of. By the way, the Motobama torpedo is some sort of Italian super torpedo that sits around an area till an enemy ship appears and blows it up. It's so powerful that you have to press F 3 times to pay respects. So it'd be very interesting to see how that functions in game. But of course, we need the Italian Navy first to see it. Although I think the Germans did use it a bit. There was a question you complained about how lame depth charges are. Gaijin replied basically saying they're working as intended. Someone was stating that destroyers are actually much more resilient than they are in game. And Gaijin was like, hey, sometimes they survive torpedoes or bombs. And finally, there's going to be a tutorial for naval forces eventually, which is also great because, as I said earlier, there's a possibility that you could get some golden eagles out of that. And honestly, a lot of people don't completely seem to understand how the aiming system functions, and it'd be great for Gaijin to actually teach people. There's some planned changes for the German and Russian naval tech trees. They're going to change up the way the tech trees are laid out. For Germany, you're going to have to research the VS-10 to get to destroyers, and for Russia, you will no longer have to get through the Project 183 to get to destroyers. But there's no mention if there's going to be a difference in RP costs to get through these vehicles. And there's some battle range changes, but most importantly, the Project 195 is going up to 4.0, while the Franz is going down to 3.7, which I think they should be both 4.0 because the Franz is actually really good. Oh yeah, and the LCS is going up to 3.7 because that thing is a monster. In a final bit of news, a number of high-ranking squadrons are attempting to resurrect Thunder League. Personally, I thought Thunder League was very entertaining, fun, and you got some cool event vehicles out of it. So far, there's been no talk on how they exactly plan to do this, but I'm totally in support of it. So in the description below, there should be a link to the thread if you wish to support them. Go and tell so. That's just about the news this week. If you have any comments or concerns or questions, you can hit me up down below or on my Discord. If you've liked this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I make these news videos every weekend. I make random videos throughout the week, so hit that bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. Thanks for watching and have a great day.